Buddha, I believe, was a good man who was passionately trying to find a higher way of living. He was of a royal family. He saw the shallowness of the lifestyle of the wealthy people he was surrounded with and the power-hungry people he was surrounded with. And so he became, if you will, a monk type of person, lived a monastic kind of existence in the woods, doing nothing but seeking truth, ultimate reality, and finally arrived at something he called it nirvana, which is strangely from a word that means blowing out, like the blowing out of a candle. And he taught that ultimately, if we reach nirvana, we cease to exist as a personal being. Once a person is out of the cycle of rebirth and they achieve nirvana, they cease to exist as a person. And they blend in with some kind of cosmic energy. He taught that in order to achieve nirvana, you have to give up the belief that you have a soul, and you have to give up the belief that that soul will spend an eternity in heaven in some kind of relationship with God. Well, Jesus taught both of those things, that we definitely do have a soul and that we definitely can spend eternity in a heavenly existence in a personal relationship with God. I've heard many people, I did when I was a yoga teacher, say that both Jesus and Buddha were avatars, which is a Hindu word meaning an incarnation of God. Well, then God's very confused. If God would incarnate in a human form and one time teach that we have no soul and the next time teach that we do, one time teach that you can't spend eternity in a personal relationship with God, and 500 years later teach that we do, then God can't make up his mind. No, it's because Buddha was just a man. A good man, I believe that. And a man who sought after ultimate reality passionately like few do, I believe that. But I also believe that he fell short of encountering the truth. And he did not die on a cross for the sins of humanity. He was a normal human being, conceived of a normal sexual union of a man and a woman, no different than you and I. But Jesus was much different because he was conceived of the Holy Spirit, so that his body was divine in origin. Mary was overshadowed by the presence of the Holy Spirit, and the body in her womb was created by God, so that Jesus was God manifested in the flesh. Buddha did not die on a cross for the sins of humanity. No other religious leader that I can mention. Muhammad was born of a man and a woman and did not die on a cross. Krishna, which is, I believe, a mythical being, but he did not die on the cross for the sins of humanity. And none of those I've mentioned rose from the dead, even though Buddha died of food poisoning, which is no comparison to the horrific treatment Jesus received that put him in an early grave. Still, Buddha is still in the grave, and Jesus arose victoriously and was restored and given a glorious form, an eternal body to dwell in as an example to us that if we put our trust in him, we can live forever too. And we will one day at the resurrection receive a glorious and eternal body. So there's so many differences that we need to really focus upon before we reject Jesus' claim. And I believe if you really set your heart on it and sincerely and humbly search it out, and not just reject it because maybe at first your intellect has a problem with this biblical concept or that one, but go ahead and humbly set your intellect on a shelf and just say, Jesus, like I did, if you're there, manifest yourself to me. Prove that this thing about you dying on the cross is really true.